What is up, RetroManiacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike, and I am from Mike's Retro Trading Cards. And I'm joined by two men that have blown up our mani-pedi budget for the whole year. They are, of course, Joe Day and EP Eric Pahalik. How you doing, boys?
What up?
Nice.
Yeah,
Really nice, Joe.
I could be a breaker. What up?
You should be, yeah.
Yeah, they needed diamond tip tools to take care of my toenails, so that's why it costs so much.
Yeah. By the way, so Mike is alluding to the fact that I was on vacation last week. You can see I'm back at the home base, kind of, sort of, and I did get a mani-pedi, and the giggles when they scrubbed the bottoms of your feet. Oh, it was, and I had a couple of glasses of champagne in me, so I was really like over the top. Like, this poor woman was like, "My man, can you just shut up? I want to get through this." But yeah, it was a good time.
Like Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec getting his shoe shined. Is that simple?
No, I mean, no, that was like giggling in like satisfaction.
Okay, all right.
Mine was like, hee, like it. It was painful how ticklish it was, but yes. But yes, I am back from vacation for a little while. We'll be in this. I'm going to rearrange at some point though, because I'm almost done with this binder project. I almost have the whole cabinet filled up. The problem is, boys, have you heard about our national nightmare?
I haven't.
No.
I went to put a couple of sets and binders last night. Got my situation all taken care of. Had the table all cleared off. Had my box of sets. Had my binders ready. And I go up to my little supply area upstairs, and I was out of pages.
Ooh,
I'm like, how?
I was like, oh my god,
how did this happen? I was out of pages, and so I had to order some. So I'll tell you, I was freaking out a little bit. Oh my god! Luckily, they have not been hit by tariffs, but yeah, I got them on eBay fairly cheap, like $22 a piece, free shipping for $2,200. Yeah, per page. Ultra platinum. No, 22 for 100. So I got 2 boxes worth. That should keep me going for a couple of weeks. But yeah, so I'll be back in the correct position. You won't have to see this much more, but yeah, there it is.
I'm a little surprised because I feel like I'm surprised a little bit, but because I feel like you would like have planned, because you're planning this project for a while. You're like waiting for the temperature change and stuff that you ran out, but that also means you've probably been doing an awful lot of putting stuff in a lot of pages, right?
Yes. I went through 4 boxes, 4 100 count boxes.
Jeez.
But I don't think I mentioned anything to the viewers. Last week, Rob and I lost power here after a big storm for 3 nights. So you lose track of card stuff real quick when you have no power. Mm-hmm. And so I probably would have noticed it a little bit sooner, but yeah, here we are. We got power back luckily, but that was rough. I was very, very upset, not by losing power, but by not having pages. Come on, man. What am I doing? I'm the binder guy. I mean, EP thinks sports card dad is, but I'm the binder guy. I've been putting cards in binders for years.
You have been. Is that a can of canned air and over your left shoulder there?
Fuck, I forgot to move that. That is not intentional, and I meant to move it.
Oh, sure it's not. Yeah.
No, because I know you guys would make fun of me, so I definitely would have moved it. But yes, that is a can of canned air that I can air some things back there. So
okay.
How many times a day do you canned air that?
Once a day, man.
All right. Just
once a day. Wow.
Once a day. I got to get the comic books, got to get the displays. Now I got to get the albums, just can't air that stuff. I need a drink after this persecution. So I'm going to have a cocktail. EP, you going to join me?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Cocktail.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to mention before I get over to EP is, would anyone in the audience be interested? The next Rittenhouse product to come out that I know a little bit about is Twin Peaks. So I looked at the sell sheet. If you are mildly interested in Twin Peaks, like Rittenhouse products, check out their website. Check out the sell sheet. If you're into it, I can probably get it for about the same price. I got the Cheers. What was that? $135, I think, for a box with shipping. we'd open it up on the channel. If I get a decent response, I'd consider buying a case and then, going from there. So let me know down in the comments if you might be interested in a Twin Peaks rip. Again, another cool Rittenhouse thing. Twin Peaks, who would think to do a Twin Peaks set, but I guarantee you they're going to sell out of it. So should be a fun time if anyone's interested in that.
I didn't see Twin Peaks until just recently. Like I want to say, like last 5 years or so. So I didn't watch it back then, and so I finally watched it, and it was as good. It lived up to expectations, I guess I should say. So
it's quite sci-fi.
Like
it's quite sci-fi. It plays into the whole Rittenhouse. Their website is Sci-Fi Lobby, I believe. So yeah, but check it out. Let me know in the comments if anyone would be interested. I'd be more than happy to, with my new situation. I'd be more than happy to do that for the channel.
Count me in if we end up doing it.
All right.
I'll think about it.
All right.
The last time I ordered from you, it took me a long time to get my cards.
What holiday would be next after? You'd get them by draft day, Mike. You get them by our fantasy football draft.
Okay. Fair enough.
You too, EP, by the
way. How's it going, EP? What's new and exciting with you?
Nothing much. Oh.
Okay.
We're professionals.
I am still dealing with this cough a little bit. So
they let us have a podcast.
Yep. Oh no look on EP's face as he saw it happen. Oh no.
I can't cut that out. That's
no. So I still have this little bit of cough, so I'm dealing with that. I didn't do a ton of card stuff this week. Unfortunately. I got this Upper Deck Redemption back. That's a card from the Upper Deck, the Halo set that I pulled, but nothing super exciting. I didn't really have time to do too much in the last week card wise.
Wow, boring.
Yeah,
Sorry, made something up. Sorry. That's what everybody else on YouTube does. Just make something up.
Since EP didn't use all of his time, I will say, I think I have completely jumped off the edge of not collecting sports cards anymore, boys. So I posted a card on social media. It was a very cool Stan Lee autograph card from Rittenhouse, X-Men: The Last Stand, on card auto, of course, bold auto. That was such. I was trolling around eBay looking for the best auto I could find. Found that one. The card grade was lower, but I was like, I don't care about the edges and corners or whatever. It was still a decent grade, but I cracked it out of the BGS slab. I'm going to put it in one touch. It'll probably be, over here at some point. I sold a Tom Brady rookie card to pay for it. I'm just saying, like, I only have a handful of sports cards left that have a decent value. And it's like, I don't know. I maybe I'll buy an alternate sports card like you did, Mike. I have one negotiating with the seller of that card.
Interesting.
But same one. It's the 9. It's the PSA 9 version of that we were both looking at. But like, I just can't get into sports cards anymore. I don't know. I'm just comment down below if anyone's done what I've done and just said I'm done with sports cards. I don't know.
I think what drove us again was we loved opening boxes and opening packs, and if you can't do that, then the thing that we loved about the sports cards is not there anymore. So it's a little bit different. Like I'm still buying sports cards for, to use it, to put in boxes and sell it at card sales, card shows and, on eBay and stuff. But for the most part, what's really exciting me the same as you is the non-sports stuff. Just enjoying it.
Yeah. I think that is a big part of it too, EP. The ripping. We always enjoyed ripping.
Yeah.
Like people say, who's your PC to me? I'm like, I don't
Everybody.
have any. No, I don't. I like the Eagles, but I don't collect anybody from the Eagles. I feel like I don't want to. I think the barrier to entry is kind of high because cards are so expensive that I could get like a Cooper DeJean like PC. I've thought about doing that, but I don't want to, I want a cool card, but then I don't want to spend $5,000 buying his cards. So it makes it difficult, especially for, older collectors like us that got out of it and then got back into it. Even buying singles can be completely different now than it was before. Yeah. If you collect people that aren't worth anything, you can do that. But anybody who's exciting, like if you want to collect the quarterback from your favorite football team, it's going to cost you money.
You're hosed.
So,
hosed.
Like even Jalen Hurts, like he's not considered one of the hobby darlings, but his cards aren't cheap. If I want a nice card of his, or if I want it in a good grade, and then you fall into but if I buy this raw, this person's selling it raw because it's probably has something wrong with it. Like it's just there's a whole bunch of issues that kind of come into play. Tyler Simmons is a Chiefs collector. He can buy all that stuff up. It's great for people that do that, but like I'm not that kind of collector that I just buy all the Eagles. So I think it's a little more difficult, and that's just where the hobby is.
Your PC, if you had a PC, would be an alternate sports PC with Paul Heyman, right? Like not a mainstream sport. I would say, though, we talked about maybe doing this as a Wednesday show, giving each other ideas for possible new PCs. If we did that show, my first one for you, Mike, and we'll probably forget because we're old. My first one for you would be Randall Cunningham. I think a Randall Cunningham PC would be a lot of fun. You were a huge Eagles fan back then. You had a starter jacket back then when he was the quarterback. You can get a lot of his autos in his Eagles uniform, like ultra modern, for cheap. They put them in packs. Pacific. Panini puts them in packs quite a bit, and Topps is now, I think, because they need older players to fill out the checklist. But yeah, I mean that wouldn't be a terrible one, and probably wouldn't be overly expensive.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Very cool. I buy some of the autograph. Like I bought a Ricky Williams autograph at the card show out of Mosaic because it was like. I think I paid $25 for it, and it's numbered out of like 100 and something. Like, so, if I see stuff like that, like I have thought about this would be a great way to get an autograph collection. You can do that. Maybe that's something I'd think about doing. But
Torrey Holt would be another one we talked about. That'd be a great.
I have a Torrey Holt auto I bought at a show for like $15. Ridiculous. I did. You mentioned it though. The card I bought, and I felt kind of funny because I posted on Twitter that I bought a big card, and I'm like, it's not a big card to like at least half of Twitter. I paid $320 for a card, and I called it a big card, and then I felt like embarrassed for calling it a big card.
Right.
Everybody else on Twitter is like 10x that, right, for their big cards. 10x plus,
right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the same one. It's probably going to cost me about 400-ish, $425 plus, the shipping tax and stuff like that. But it may be, I was thinking about this last night, and I wouldn't mind hearing from our viewers. I was thinking about putting up a Twitter poll, but you know how they can go off the rails. I'm wondering what like people's card budgets are, like a monthly card budget. First off, do you have one?
You have a budget, yeah.
Right.
And if you do, what is it? Is it $100 cap, $500 cap, $1,000, whatever. I'm curious. Comment down below. Let us know what your card budget is if you have one. Because, we like to say, let the hobby pay for the hobby, but sometimes it's not a 1-to-1 a lot of the time. Sometimes you might have to pay for a card before you can sell a card, kind of like I did with the Stan Lee I just talked about, right? So I don't know. I'm curious on how many people actually have a budget and stick to it, when it comes to card collecting.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. You remember that MLB debut card of what's the guy's name from the Pirates? Paul
Skenes.
Paul Mustache.
Paul
Stash.
Yeah.
Paul Stash.
Yeah, Paul Stash. Paul Skenes, of course. We joke around here a lot. His MLB debut card, ironically enough, debuted at the Dick's Sporting Goods flagship store in the Ross Park Mall. Am I right on that, Joe?
Yeah, about 20 minutes from work, about 20 minutes from my job. So maybe over lunch I might check it out.
On the outskirts of Pittsburgh, is what I read.
Yeah.
So
North Hills.
North Hill, of course, in the North Hills. You know that. But yeah, really cool looking display. They had, I believe, 3 police officers walking around guarding it the day they brought it in. I am kind of fascinated by, like, what are they, like, is this going to be on display, like, for periods of time? Is it going to be all the time? Is it just going to be here and there? how do they keep people from like breaking into the store to steal it? I don't know, but I mean, it is cool. I think the display that they made for it looks pretty cool, and we'll get into some other stuff about Dick's Sporting Goods after. But yeah, I as much as I want to find a way to poke some fun at this, because that's what we do around here a lot of times, I think this is actually really cool. I'd like to be able to go see it. If it was closer to me, I would definitely go see it.
Dude, I sent you a picture of steaks that I was making for me and Rob yesterday, and you said, "Oh, thanks for the invite. Come out, man. I'll make you steaks. We'll go to the Ross Park Mall." Boom. There's a trip.
That sounds like a good idea. Yeah.
No, yeah, this was really cool. Actually, it brought up something, as I was rewatching some of our stuff about the Skenes auto or the Skenes debut patch. I was thinking, like, the one thing we didn't think about when we were talking about that in terms of cost was security cost, right? So I'm curious, because if they were police officers, they were probably off duty, they're getting paid through Dick's, getting overtime or whatever. And I'm wondering, like, how much, if they're going to have it out during normal business hours, how much is that going to cost? Or maybe they just have it out, like you said, Mike, at certain periods of time. Maybe they just have it out during the season. Maybe they just have it out during home games. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure what the schedule is, but if you're going to pay Pittsburgh police officers to come out, or I guess it'd be Ross Park police officers to come out, Ross police officers come out. I'm curious on how much that cost is gonna be, and that's something you don't even compute. But it's a $1.1 million card. If it's just some 19-year-old who got out of his pick class and is working at Dick's Sporting Goods part time, and someone just punches into that display and yanks it out and starts running. I mean, I guess at that point, Dick's Sporting Goods could go to their insurance company. I'm guessing it is insured to the max. So yeah, that's an interesting twist to this we didn't think about.
Yeah, absolutely. They did it well. It seems like this was all calculated on their parts, like bidding on everything, and they had this big plan. I really hope that they get Skenes in there. Like, it'd be cool to have Skenes in there, stand next to the card, and have like a signing or whatever. I think that's a really cool idea, I think. And I mean, it's a big win for Pittsburgh. Obviously, there's we went through, we'll talk about they made sure that collectors can get it, but I mean, real collectors weren't after that card anyway. It was like investors. So to see Pittsburgh get that card and have it in town is kind of a cool thing.
Do they have a Sbarro in the mall?
They might. I don't know. I haven't gone to the Ross Park Mall in years. I think Dick's Sporting Goods is no, it is actually connected to the mall. It's a nice mall. Decent. There's a Mad Mex right there. If you folks know about Mad Mex, it's a kind of a localish chain in Pittsburgh. Delicious. Great margaritas. Just throwing that out. Big ass margaritas.
Of course you would know that. Well, it turns out that maybe part of the reason that they bought the Paul Skenes card, other than to just give back to the city of Pittsburgh, is because it appears that Dick's Sporting Goods might be getting into cards a little more heavily than they had been previously. Now, they sell cards on the website. Do they have them in store at all?
Yes.
Do they? Okay.
I'm pretty sure they do. I think I've seen them before.
But apparently the Dick's Collectors Clubhouse, which will be available in select stores, will be kind of an upgraded card area with some interactive experiences there. The mock-up that they shows quite a bit of sealed wax and a lot of slabbed cards. Again, it's a mock-up picture. It wasn't a real picture of a real store, but kind of sounds like not only is GameStop getting into cards, it's Dick's Sporting Goods too. Is this Fanatics isn't going to do their own stores? They're just going to take all these existing retailers and kind of turn them into quasi card shops, right? Is this what's going on?
Fanatics and maybe PSA, right? I mean, would you be surprised if Dick's Sporting Goods started taking PSA submissions? That wouldn't shock me.
Not at all.
Right?
Yeah.
I do want to make mention that about a month ago, when we talked about Dick's Sporting Goods buying this, the conspiracy hat, which is not coming out today because it's very upset, it was laughed at by my cohorts here. Whoa, no, EP, it's my turn. Laughed at by my cohorts, when I said Dick's Sporting Goods bought this, maybe we'll find out in a couple of months, 6 months down the road, that there's a deal with Fanatics to get more allocation at Dick's Sporting Goods. Here we are, just a month later, not even 6 months later, a month later, and they get I'm assuming, a pretty sizable allocation from
We
Fanatics.
don't know that. There's no information confirming what you're saying.
There's no evidence other than the conspiracy hat is never wrong, never doubt. Again, he's right here. He refuses to go. I begged all morning. Come on, everyone loves you. And he said, no, remember that time they laughed at me? And I said, yeah, you know what, I do. And just like me, he does not like to be slated. So yes, that is what is happening there. Joking aside, I mean, I saw this coming. It'd be shocking that they wouldn't get more into it. They're going to get one of the biggest cards that the hobby's seen in the last few years. It's not shocking that they would get more into cards using that. You know, you could even reverse engineer it, saying once they got this card, they're like, shit, we should probably get more into cards if we're going to have this big display with this card. So chicken or the egg, I don't know which came first, but it's interesting. You made the point, Mike. It's kind of like, yeah, they're not going to open up a Fanatics store. Dick's Sporting Goods already has a lot of Fanatics products in their stores, right? So it wouldn't shock me if now they have the Fanatics Topps cards in their store. And, you know, like we talked about last week with the MVP buyback, I am very, very upset that Fanatics is seemingly doing everything they can to push out those LCSs out of the equation, the docks, right? The Yukons, those. I went to one in Lancaster, Don's collectible shop, and it looked like a hoarder's house. But I'm like, this is all, there was stuff all over the place. It was really, really cool. They're trying to push those people out. And that to me is a disservice to the hobby. And hopefully it's not as grim as I think it is. But sadly, whenever I think something's grim, it generally is what happens. So glass half full? No. But kind of how it works. EP, give us some joy. Give us some hope.
I'm the glass half full guy, but and Joe's the glass half empty.
I think it's about 3/4 full with you.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. My apologies to the conspiracy hat. I didn't know we were upsetting the conspiracy hat, but I will say that it is ridiculous when you take that thing out and put it on. I think half the time we're laughing at the whole thing, not at the hat itself. Please let the hat know that we do not.
Trying to take himself out. Keep going.
This is like we talk a lot about back in the 90s, like the early 90s and the 80s and stuff, when they had like all these sets at KB Toy Store and all this sort of stuff, and you could find everything everywhere. They had repacks everywhere, that retail repacks everywhere. But this feels like the retailing of the hobby, but it feels very, very, very different in my opinion to that. This seems like on much larger scale and a little bit like grosser, like almost considerably grosser. I don't know what happens to the hobby if they keep pushing this and they put, like Joe said, push out the smaller shops and keep making this sort of stuff. The hobby will stick around, but it's not going to be the hobby that we know. They're kind of shaping this hobby into what they want it to be. And I don't like for the three of us, it's not the kind of thing that we want to see, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with companies like Dick's getting into it. Maybe if Toys R Us was still around, they could have been saved by turning into a card shop too. But the problem is when you read stuff about things that are said about what they're trying to do with the scorecard and everything. They make the comment of, a card shop with all these dusty boxes of cards, like not realizing there's a segment of this hobby, a pretty big segment of the hobby, that card shop with dusty boxes is like very appealing to them. And I want to go to that place because I like to root through cards. A lot of collectors like to root through boxes of cards and look for it. It is probably the thing that I enjoy absolutely the most in the hobby is that box. There could be a boat in that box, right, Joe? I'm going to go look for it. I enjoy looking for the boat in the box. And if you take your products completely out of these stores because they're not up to your standards, then I'm not going to have an opportunity to buy the product that you're selling. I may never go into the Cards HQ kind of card shop because, like I was just saying, I don't PC individual players. The wax is too expensive to buy. Like, I might go into a place just because, but I'm not going in to look for something specific to buy. My wife and I stopped at a card shop that was kind of like a newer card shop, and they had a couple boxes there that were, cheaper stuff. I looked through those, and that was pretty much it. Like, I don't have anything to buy. There's a big part of this hobby that likes the dusty box card shop. And yes, it's not everybody's thing, but we really shouldn't be shitting on them. I've seen the comment numerous times about that, like when they're talking about what a card shop should be, and then they like make these comments about these other kind of card shops. And there are a lot of people that like the other kind of card shop. And if you don't put your damn around. Yes, absolutely. And you don't put your product in there, they're not buying it. So I don't know. Yes, you're still selling it to whatever, but you can sell more. Topps Baseball, you're not going to give the crusty old card shop base Topps products. Like, why? Like, it's just ridiculous. I understand. Like, I don't have a problem with them going into GameStop and Dick's and stuff, because there are newer people that could come into the hobby. They see something, people will run into it when they're in there to buy something for their kid's Little League game and go, oh, this is kind of neat. Or their kid might see something. That, way you build the hobby, but you don't want to chop off your legs to grow 2 more arms.
Yeah. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. A couple of things real quick. I think it was EP. You might have said it, like they're making the hobby into how they want it to look like. It might have been you, Mike. I apologize, but that's a really important point, because the person doing that is not a collector, right? Yeah. The person who's making the hobby into how they want to see the hobby is not a card collector. I don't care what anyone who defends him
and
says.
He's not getting any kind of advice from people like us.
Well, I mean, we've said before, like there are no, how many people left at Topps are actually collectors? Like, I wonder, our fanatics, I mean, are actually collectors, like the people that are running the largest piece of the hobby right now.
And
like,
what kind of collector are they? Like, they hired Josh Luber back then to run part of it. Like,
and they're getting most of their advice from Jeff Wilson on stuff like this too. I mean, their card shop advice, I wouldn't be surprised. We want card shops like this. Okay, well, you'll do that and you'll push out all these LCSs. I know you and Amy like to just randomly go someplace there's that. I'm going to tell you about that, Don. I'll text you the info, because there's a nice little brewery across the street from it. You would love it, going there and just digging through stuff, Mike. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, you could be there for hours. Like, there's
My wife will hate it.
There's a couple of I was gonna say, does she like antiques? You can just send her over. There's a couple of it's a really nice. It's like almost reminds you of Muncie. Like, it's a really nice main street. I don't know how Muncie is nowadays, but it used to be really nice. So, but really nice main street. So I'll recommend that to you. And then the last thing, the cut off your legs to grow two extra arms thing. He wants to 10x the hobby, and that's fine. But that doesn't mean excluding the people that are already there, right? Like,
exactly.
Yes, go into Dick's Sporting Goods. Go into these retail type places. Build places like Cards HQ, whatever Tom Brady's place is called. That's fine, but don't then cut out the people that want to go to these LCSs, because what's the old adage? You lose a customer a loaf at a time, you get them back a slice at a time, or something like that. Like, if you alienate all these people that go to places like Docs, that go to places like UConn, go to places like what Mike's Upper Deck was, and you alienate those people, you're not going to get them back. They're just going to say, I'm good with Topps products. I'll find something else. And, that's a shame if that's the case, but you're not going to expand the hobby by dumping the people that have been here the whole time. Some people since 1952 have been collecting Topps, this whole time, and they're seeing a very different company than they saw decades ago.
I want somebody to put together a supercut of Joe with this is aphorisms and sayings and stuff. Like, I just want something like a supercut. It would be like 3 hours long from all of our episodes or whatever, but it would be great. It'd be amazing. The one really good point both you guys made Mike made it, but the whole cutting off your legs to grow two new arms or whatever, like they print 1 billion boxes of flagship. How can they not just give wholesale to everybody? Like, sure, like pristine, some of the super high end stuff. Yeah, give that to the special ones. But why not also loop in those other places? Like they're leaving so much on the table by not including all of them. I agree. 100%.
Remember how happy we are when Ruben said in that Bill Simmons interview, go all the way back to episode 1, people, when they said we're getting rid of the distributors, we're getting rid of the middlemen.
Yep.
So everyone's like, oh, this is great. So I can go to my LCS, I can pick up a box of flagship and not be gouged for it. No, they took out the middleman and they took out the end user in a lot of cases. Now you have to go. The middleman now is not the distributor; it's your breaker, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's now the new middleman for you to get cards. So yeah, it's not our hobby anymore, and maybe we're in this the vocal majority because we get to talk about it on YouTube, but we might be in the minority at this point. With a lot of new collectors coming in. I hope not. I think most people are still generally, like us, where we don't want to see shit like this happen, but who knows? Maybe we're the old men, like you like to say, Mike, yelling at the clouds.
We are. Unfortunately, we are. But hey, I have some big news for you guys. PSA minimum grades are back, baby. They're back. PSA.
Where'd they go? What?
They were actually gone, which what? I didn't really realize. And then I saw that they were back, and I'm like, oh, I never knew you were gone, but welcome back. Yeah. They sent out an email to people, and it was on their website this week that they are bringing back the minimum grades. Let me get this out of the way first because this bothered me. The mock-up they had like showing like a 10, a 9, a 8, a 7.5, which come on, you don't grade cards 7.5. And like they showed that, oh, you can, if it's not a 9, you don't have to accept. Every one of their mock-ups had every grade as gem mint. It was a gem mint 10, then a gem mint 9, the gem mint 8. Somebody screwed up. I just wanted to point it out because that's what we like to do.
No. The hobby's all gem mint now, baby.
Well, people will be selling that 7.5 gem mint.
Yeah, absolutely.
But from the value plus level, which is $39.99 a card and above, you are now able to set your minimum grade. If you don't want it, if it doesn't get a 10, they won't slab it as a 10. They do give you the option of either slabbing it just as authentic or sending the card back to you. You're still going to be charged because they're still grading it. That's fair. I believe that. But yeah, the minimum grades that I never knew were gone. I guess during COVID, like during the shutdown and stuff, they must have stopped it.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I did not. I mean, I don't use it. Right, I don't really have much case to use it, so never really thought about using it. But it's a useful tool out there for people. If you like the one of ones that people want to send in and get graded, if it's going to come back a 5, they'll just slab it authentic. It's a good thing for that. But yeah, it's a cool thing. I'm glad it's back. Maybe kind of wish I would have known that it was gone, but yeah, welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Is that Welcome Back, Cotter?
Yeah, you're going to get us demonetized if you keep singing like that.
I think I'm under the amount of time. One of the biggest arguments that EP and I constantly have is whether or not to grade one-on-ones. And I said a few weeks ago, see, now when I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong, much like Jerry Orbach in Dirty Dancing, right? My point.
He references that all the time.
All the time. Thank you, Dave Damashek. But anyway, I did say a couple months ago, I think I was arguing with you about this when I was staying at Mike Jones's over Easter, is if you're going to do it, set it a minimum grade. Right. Well, I didn't know that was not a thing that you could do. Now that it is, I doubled down on that. If you have a 1-on-1, you want it graded, send it in for a minimum grade, because anything less than a 10 potentially could hurt its value. Have them then slab it authentic. I'm all good with all of that. If you need to slab your 1-on-1 to try and get that, either Slabbed Authentic to get that. Someone else can try and find that boat in that box, right? Or get that 10, which should increase the value of it. The other thing I was going to mention about this is I wish PSA would take a page out of CGC comic books. They do have a pre-screen process. When you send in, say, 10 comic books and you say, I want to pre-screen them a 9.8, right? They will look at the comic books. They will grade it. And there is an encapsulation cost for any that hit that 9.8. And then there is a non-encapsulation cost for any that fall below that 9.8, which is cheaper. I think it might be half of the cost of grading the book. Now, card graders look at cards about a minute, maybe a minute and a half. What was the actual time?
It was a minute and a half.
Yeah. Was it a minute and a half? I'm guessing comic book graders might spend a little bit more time on those. So if CGC can do it that way, I wish PSA would give some sort of, discount if it doesn't meet a certain standard. But again, anyone who's using this, if you're sending in a card, you really don't care at that point. You're just, you're used to paying PSA no matter what.
Before I get into my talk, they for comics, they have to look at every page, right? So they have to flip through, like they don't just grade the cover in the back, right? It's every page.
Correct. An awful job. God, could you imagine doing that all day?
They have to look for tears in the pages. They have to make sure every page is there because sometimes they are incomplete. And then they have to look at the color of the pages, whether they're white, off-white, cream to off-white. They're definitely a lot of phases to that.
Like think of them trying to go through that in 90 seconds, like a whole book. That'd be wild.
Right.
They'd be like tearing pages trying to flip through.
But they're not grading 1.5 whatever million
right
cards.
So is this an extra? This is an extra fee, right? You get to like check a box and pay extra for the minimum grade. I'm sure. I've never used it as well.
No, they just charge you for it if it if it doesn't hit the minimum grade. Yeah. So you're paying for the card grade whether it hits the minimum or not. So that's probably the only reason they don't charge you extra for it. Yeah.
Gotcha. And Mike, you missed the best part about those PSA 7 gem mints. Like that's a rare PSA slab error that you can charge more for on eBay. If you get a PSA 7 that says gem mint 10, you can put rare PSA error and just think of.
Well, first off, PSA errors are not rare, EP. So I don't know
not anymore.
Yeah.
Well. All right. Well, okay. I was trying not to talk about this, but I feel like we have to because the hysteria that has been building up over Topps Chrome VeeFriends is starting to get out of hand a little bit. I'll admit, a while ago, I told you that Gary V had that thing saying, do you like sports cards?
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I signed up. I have, and I told you at the time I would give you a little bit of a report on that. It has literally been nothing but whatnot sales of VeeFriends stuff.
What? No, Mike.
Gary V, right. They're not sports cards. Okay. I feel like I was duped.
What?
I feel like this was all kind of maybe just to pump up.
Let me get you Mike and
will you come out for this?
No, leave it out. I've got some stuff I need to get to here. And it's working. My God, this guy knows how to pump, and it's working because there was a special pre-sale on Topps. I tried to get that. It was $99 a box for a hobby box. Didn't win in the drawing they had for that. They had a second release, which, by the way, from Topps was now $139.99 instead of the $99.99. The company manufacturing it had a suggested retail price on one drop and then dropped more, but raised the price $40 a box direct from the company making it. Did I point out from the company making it that it did not cost any more to make it? It wasn't everything that was factored into the price point of this didn't change, but they're charging more just because it sold out the first time. And they also sold blasters. Those suckers sold out with less than a minute. You were only allowed to buy 2, and they sold out in less than a minute. The hysteria around this right now, these are little creatures that Gary Vee came up with. What is this IP? What is making it go up in value so much? Like, what intrinsic value does this have to a collector? There's no nostalgia. There's no like prospecting of, oh, this character here is going to be better in the future. It's not a established IP like Pokemon or Magic the Gathering or even Yu-Gi-Oh!
Or
And this
Marvel.
stuff, or like, Marvel, anything. This is 100% Gary Vee finding another way to pump this shit up so he can make a ton of money on it. And now he has a partner in Fanatics. They're doing Fanatics Live stuff. He's all over Whatnot stuff. Like, Fanatics Live is promoting this stuff. Topps is promoting it for him. Like, he's buddy with Michael Rubin, so it all makes sense. But if you cannot see that this is clearly one rich guy helping out another rich guy with his little pet project so he can pump it on all the people in the hobby, making them feel like they're missing out if they don't buy this shit, what is this? This is literally nothing. There is nothing to this. And I don't even want to see what the hobby box prices are going to sell for on the secondary market after it's released. This is, I don't know. I feel like he was like, you know what? You think you want to say I pumped cards like in the pandemic? I'll show you how to pump cards. And now created his own IP, and he's shilling these things more than he was even able to shill sports cards back in the day. Which, by the way, I'll stop ranting after this, Joe. I want to remind everybody once again, he told everybody how cards were going to go up. He didn't tell you when they were going to go back down after he sold all his stuff and got out of sports cards completely. Didn't tell anybody that they were going down.
He did the same thing with Marvel. He pumped up Marvel and didn't say, oh, by the way. Yeah, so a couple of things. One, there is no end user here. Someone's going to get caught with the bag. Like, there is no one. If you are collecting VeeFriends, comment down below, I guess. I'm guessing we won't hit their algorithm, right? Comment down below if you're collecting VeeFriends. Like, it's investors selling to other investors, selling to other investors. It's not like the Minecraft thing where, you know, someone they sold out pretty quick. You know, secondary market price was crazy. There were actually kids and parents, we know a couple of them, that opened that up to have fun with it, right? There was an end user, you know, there was someone who liked that IP, who got a, you know, color blast or whatever and loved it and was happy to get that. There is no one like that for VeeFriends. There isn't. I need to meet this unicorn who actually is like, oh shit, VeeFriends is dropping. I have to wait till the investors get out because I really want to put a set together. No one's like that. It's not like the Magic thing with the One Ring where it's like, oh, once that One Ring gets pulled, all the investors will get out of this and I'll be able to collect the VeeFriends that I've been chomping at the bit to put a set in a binder, right? There's no end user. So someone's going to be holding the bag on this. Screw them. I don't care, you know, because again, it's an investor to investor to investor to investor to investor. No one is buying into a VeeFriends break for their collection. They're buying into a VeeFriends break to then sell those cards probably on Fanatics Live. And Fanatics, by the way, it's really weird. This Wednesday, we're going to do a top 5, the best 5 things Fanatics has done for the hobby. And all we're doing on Monday's show is shitting on them. But Fanatics, again, they're getting it on both ends. They're selling the product directly. They created the product. They're selling it. They jacked up their price. Again, to your point, Mike, nothing changed. It's actually, once they produce more, it's cheaper. Like, because then the initial cost is now spread out across more and more packs. So something that ostensibly is cheaper for them to make and produce, they are selling for more. And then they're breaking it on their platform. And then they're probably going to sell the top cards on their platform. You know, like, so they're taking little bits and pieces from every single thing. And again, at the end of the day, no one collects this stuff. No one does. Prove me wrong. Comment down below if you're jonesing to put a set together. That being said, how pissy was Gary Vee? You sent the text, I believe, Mike, where someone sold a card on eBay for a buy it now for like, it was like $300. And he was like, that's a super duper rare card. That should be selling for like thousands of dollars.
It was
like,
the green-eyed cat variation. So they have a cat and its eyes are different colors. And that was one of the rarer colors. And the seller, it was only $100 on the sale, and it was a lot. And he was mad
and
because
he's like, educate yourself on the product. It's like, dude, you new to the hobby? No one does that. No investors educate themselves on the product.
Dude, you created little doodles and had real artists like turn them into creations. Like, come on.
Right. You are not Stan Lee. Okay. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. So I don't know. I just, it's a joke. And I just can't stand shit like this anymore. It's just so frustrating.
Oh.
I agree 100% with what you guys said. First one, Mike, the question.
Wait, it's Tops though, EP.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm also gonna. I need to preface what I'm gonna get into here in a minute. But first, did you say, Mike, that did Tops make this? They print it? I wasn't sure because I thought you might have said that, but I wasn't sure. The converting sports cards, like the email, like they're just looking to convert sports people to this product, and that's what I want to get into here. He has I've listened to a podcast where he was talking about this, and like he's talking about this like Pokemon. He's selling it as get it on the ground floor kind of thing. I believe there are already cartoons on YouTube, or there are cartoons being made to be on YouTube as part of the promotions for all this sort of stuff. So I feel like he's like, this is really trying to push this as our actual thing and convincing people that this is like a Pokemon. So in 50 years, this is still going to be going, and it's still going to be as popular as Pokemon is right now. And for, I've not seen any of the drawings. I don't know what they look like.
They're stick figures, EP. They're stick figures.
His sketch cards he drew himself, and they're god awful. They're like my little Mike stick figure,
right?
Like it looks like that.
The bottom line is, though, there are a lot of people who are Gary Vee fans of just him and his personality, that sort of stuff, and they're the people that are after it, along with the investors, the people that are investing to sell to more investors down the road. So,
but the Gary Vee fan that you like to say, that is an investor.
Oh, sure, yeah,
separate from the investors. That's the problem with the product. The Gary Vee fan. First of all, anybody who says get in on the ground floor is hyping something up to you so you can make money. That's just how it works in the world.
Yeah.
But he is creating a situation, and I'm the perfect example. This is why I signed up for the list, because I wanted to see what he said. He's trying to get people who have zero interest in the IP to buy it because they want to make money. Who is the person, though, who is the person that likes the product? There are some kids, but first of all, if you're pitching it this way to get sports card buyers to buy it to make it more valuable, the kids aren't going to get it. It's not an organic thing. This is clearly a pump trying to get people who give zero shits about the IP to buy it and sell it back and forth. You can only do that for a period of time. He knows that. He'll make his money. He'll get the hell out of it. And like you said, Joe, somebody's going to be holding the bag at the end of it, but he doesn't care because he's getting his. This is classic, like textbook version of, it's the pump and dump is, this is the perfect version of it. And he's just doing it out in the open. Everybody knows it. But people are going to be, but it might be that. And then there could be a boat in that box. This could be worth like $1,000 in a week. I better buy it.
Well, no, if you sell it for $1,000, he'll get mad that you didn't sell it for $5,000.
That's true.
Yeah. No. Again, on the podcast list too, he's creating a legacy, something that's going to live beyond him, past him. So he's not going to get out. He's in it to win it. with this thing.
This is sarcasm. EP has very dry sarcasm. So for anyone who thinks he's serious here, that's sarcasm.
He did actually say that on the show, but yes, it is sarcasm. Yes.
No. Yeah. He's one of the worst people in the hobby, in my opinion. I mean, the way he does things, pyramid schemey, pump and dumpy. I mean, I really cannot stand this guy. And again, it goes to my point that I make here on a very regular basis that rich people like money and they don't care how they get it. And if it's on a collector's back or another investor's back for that matter, they don't care. They'll step on you to get across that ocean so they don't get eaten by the shark. So don't think that he cares about these cards. Don't think he's thinking about a legacy. He's thinking about a payday. At the end of the day, that's what it all comes down to with a lot of these folks like him, like Ruben, like the folks at Panini, all those people, PSA, they care about a payday. Now, you hope that some of the people in charge, like Nat Turner, for example, is a collector. So even though he's looking for a payday, he's still trying to better the hobby, whether it's for himself or for you, who knows? But at least he's an actual collector. Gary Vee is just looking for a check.
And I do want to make it clear, I did try to buy it. But the reason I tried to buy it was I thought it would be freaking hilarious for me to do a rip of a box of this stuff on the channel. I wasn't buying it to resell it. I just wanted to get one box. I tried to get 2 boxes of blasters, anything I could, because I think it would be fantastic to have done a video.
Content.
I'm not going to pay $500 for a box to do that, though.
We would have needed to have like the like you did with the WWE stuff, where we're in the corner and watch you rip this and try and explain the cards. That would have been amazing content.
It's good, and the prices I wrote down update on box price. It's going to be $300 to $500, right? When it comes out on the
market. Yeah, it'll be probably $4 to $5, I would think.
Yeah, that's bananas.
Because a lot of people didn't get it. I don't know that I've seen anybody on social media say they did get it in the
or they're embarrassed that they did.
Maybe that could be true. Although I did see one person say they liked Gary Vee because he created exit liquidity with the stuff that he pumps.
Oh, die.
Yep. So it's okay that he's pumping stuff up and making it more valuable, because that allows people who have it to be able to sell it and get out of it. That's one way to look at it. There's another side to that you're completely ignoring, but yeah, okay.
There's a lot of times when I will say, this is brilliant marketing by so-and-so. This is a good business move. And clearly this is a good business move to partner up with Gary Vee, this personality, but by Fanatics, by this partner with this personality, and for Gary Vee to partner up with Fanatics, and then to have them be able to create everything and go through all that sort of stuff. So, but if these deals, these partnerships, this business stuff that I often say is really good, are starting to feel more gross with every iteration, it seems.
Yeah. All right. Well, this will lead into, because I'm sure when people rip their VeeFriends, they're going to be sending them to PSA to get them graded, right? Do we think they're not going to? That's going to happen. So let's talk about the April grading numbers, because there's some very interesting things in here. Keeping in mind, you're going to get an influx of VeeFriends. PSA graded 1.56 million cards in April. CGC did 341K. You know what? They're the only two we're going to talk about, because PSA graded 570,000 sports cards in April. That was down from 688,000 in March. They graded 989,000 trading card game cards, up from 789,000 in March. They went up 200,000 in the non-sports and trading card game. CGC doesn't matter. They did 30,000 for sports cards. They did 311,000 non-sports and trading card game, up from 227,000. So there is 1.3 million non-sport, let's just call it Pokemon cards, basically being graded in the month of April between two companies, and they were up like 300,000 over the month before, not the year before, the month before. what are they going to do when you add VeeFriends into this? Because people are going to grade almost everything out of that. If you have sports cards you need graded from PSA, you better send them yesterday, because you're going to be waiting 4 months. It's 4 now. Like, you're going to be waiting 6 months. Crazy numbers.
EP and I talk about him quite a bit on this channel. Little Victory's just he had to create a whole new eBay store to sell his raw stuff, because he likes to keep his main eBay store strictly graded content. And he said it's taken so long to get stuff back from PSA that I'll look at the comps and see if it's worth sending to SGC. If not, just to keep, because that's his living, just to keep stuff moving, he sells it on the secondary one raw. And you're right, Mike. You're going to be waiting for a while. And I kind of made a joke about it. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a VeeFriends special, so you can get the whole conglomeration of.
I think PSA. The only reason they won't is because they're grading so many. That could close them.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, CGC, that might be your opportunity. Do a special for VeeFriends if you're CGC, right? I mean, you could definitely buoy your values. It's wild to me. And we're not talking about Beckett or SGC, but I wouldn't be surprised if their non-sports went up from previous years, year over year.
Well, not SGC. They graded 8,000, but Beckett graded 38,000 non-sports in the month of April.
What did SGC grade the previous month? Were they, they might still have been up, percentage-wise, because they grade so little. But yeah, I mean, the move that with all the Pokemon stuff coming out, you've got the Marvel stuff. You've got other trading card games that are getting graded. It is wild how many people are switching off from sports cards. We see it at the local card shows. EP, we've talked about this before. It's wild to see the sports card hobby and what was generally a sports card thing, grading cards, translate into almost not strictly, because they're still grading a lot of sports cards, by the way, just nowhere near as many.
It's dropping, though. It's been dropping a lot.
It is dropping. So I'm wondering, are sports card people starting to see, maybe this is not worth it anymore, especially with the weight and how cards fluctuate so much. You send a card in, on what is today? January, March, April, May 12th, right? If you send it off May 12th today, Monday, May 12th, the card value might change 3 or 4 times before you even get it back from PSA. So it's
if you send in a football rookie card, he could have torn his ACL in game 2 of the season before you get it back.
Right.
No, like you go May, June, July, August, September, you're going to be into the season before you even get anybody back.
Yeah,
crazy.
That's completely accurate. Yeah.
So, I mean, let me get this right. The number of TCG cards for PSA was 981,000?
989,000. I think I said a couple episodes ago they're going to hit 1 million, but I didn't think it would be next month. It's going to be next month.
So they graded more TCG than sports. So I'm just
way more.
Way more.
Like 400 and 419,000 more.
Yeah. Almost twice as many. And so that is insane to think about. When I've graded a bunch of Pokemon cards, like they don't sell, like there's not as much of a margin for the PSA 10s. Like even the PSA 10s, if you get a 9, it's worthless. So are these collectors that are doing this? Like it can't be all collectors. There's have to be people trying to sell them, but how are they making any money off? It seems to me like it. I mean, either that bubble is going to burst, or we're on a path to 2 million TCG cards being graded in a month, and all of a sudden we'll be like, well, we don't have any sports cards anymore. Let's give them a deal. We can start getting $12 grading deals for sports cards again. It'll be back to the 90s.
That's a really good point, EP, about, because I have seen you do some reveals and some PSA 10s. Little Victories has done some as well, mixed in with his sports cards. And you're right, like the 10s, sure, they're worth more than if you sell it raw, but how much more?
Like 50
really?
Bucks? I mean, like it's
you're selling a 10 for $50 and most of the ultra modern stuff. How much is it? How much does it cost to grade? How much does it cost to ship? I mean, though, how many of those are GameStop? I'd love to know that number. How many of those have been GameStop? It's specifically to PSA, but then
1 million
that
of
doesn't
them
explain
in 7
CGC.
months.
Yeah.
They've done 1 million from GameStop in 7 months, so that's adding to it too.
Significant.
Yeah, because it wasn't a lot at first, so that's a snowball just rolling down the hill, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah, crazy.
And they're training now. PSA is training Pokemon collectors the way they train sports card collectors. You pull anything out of a pack of any value at all, has to be graded. Keep in mind, it takes away from the actual utility of the card. The whole reason this card was made, again, I say that with comic books behind me encapsulated, but it's the same point. Like they have officially trained Pokemon collectors to the way they did sports card collectors a few years ago.
I think that's part of it, but I think a lot of it too are people who were the sports card bros that bought and graded everything that Pokemon's the new thing to do. So
and now I have to, because I'm used to doing it with sports cards. Now I have to do that with Pokemon cards.
I mean, there's definitely more Pokemon collectors grading their cards too. GameStop, look at that, has really added to that. So I'm not saying it's all, but I think you have more from here and more from here, and that's just making a huge pile of trading card games to get graded.
And this still is probably some people when they were still doing the deal. When did they stop offering the TCG and non-sports deal? Was that like February maybe, or
no? March? It was just maybe last month. I think it wasn't that long ago.
So it's probably still some of those in these numbers too, right? Probably the beefing the numbers up a little bit, but it's not going to go down. I don't think
not at all.
That much.
No, they're definitely going to keep grading. That's one thing we've learned in this hobby. We thought at some point it would start to go down, and just goes up and up and up. So we're totally wrong about that. Okay, what else? I saw this. I want to get your thoughts on this one, because saw this making its way around social media. There was a video of Luka Doncic. He was walking out. A fan handed him a card to sign, and he signed it and gave it back to him. There's one catch. The card was actually a graded card, and the person had him sign the slab. And there was a lot of talk going around on social media. Like, what are your thoughts about this? It's like, that's interesting. I really didn't have a problem with it, but then I thought, well, but he's not signing the card. He's signing the slab. I guess as long as you keep it in the slab. But then again, I think, well, then if you know how to get it out of the slab and you put one together, you could trick somebody into think, I don't know. I don't even know what I think about it, because I think one thing, and then I think of all the ways that I'm wrong. And then when I think of when I'm wrong, I think back how I'm right. Like, I want to know what you guys think. You tell me in the comments too. Is it dumb? Is it okay? I don't know. Help me out here.
It's dumb and okay. Two things can be true at the same time, right?
I think I'm dumb and okay. So
yeah, you're dumb and okay. A couple of things. One, it's on plastic, so that's probably gonna wipe off. I mean, you better be damn careful with that thing. It reminds me of episode of Veep. If you haven't seen the show Veep, go and watch it. It's tremendous. But Julia Louis-Dreyfus is at a book signing, and she's autographing before she runs for president. She's autographing all these books, and someone comes up with a Kindle, I think was the thing, and she's like, what am I doing with this? And her assistant goes, well, why don't you just sign the back of it? That way all her books have been signed by the vice president of the United States. So it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, by the way, great in Veep. Better in Seinfeld, though. She was tremendous in Seinfeld. She's so great on that show. Comment down below if you agree. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, it is a silly thing. But who cares? I mean, I'm just waiting for PSA to say, we'll grade that. We'll slap your slap. Right?
That day's coming.
I've said that's coming before. I've said it.
There are already companies that do that. There's a guy that does that. So
yeah. I mean, at a certain point, PSA. Well, I would be surprised if PSA puts it in they have larger slabs for larger cards. I wouldn't be shocked if this is something that they think about doing. If the guy says, "Hey, I have this thing," because they'll slab things that have been signed that aren't cards, right? So, at what point is that coming?
Double UV protection. Like, if you get enough slabs around a card, it'll never ever see daylight. You won't ever be able to see it because there's so much plastic between you and the card.
Right.
But I mean, that could happen. For I think if this person is just a collector, like a huge Luka fan, and getting it signed, like this is a really unique collectible that you can't get any other way. Like you actually physically have to have them sign it. So I think that's pretty cool in that regard. If this is somebody that is somebody looking to resell it, I think it's kind of I don't want to say gross, but it doesn't seem. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah. But from a collector standpoint, I do think it's really cool if that person is like, oh my gosh, I finally got my cards signed by Luka, and they're gonna put it up on their their wall or their their shelf or whatever. That's awesome. That's cool.
But actually, I'm gonna push back now. Who's to stop someone from getting Luka to sign a pro mold, and then just constantly changing out the card? Is that good? Is that bad?
Still fine. They still have a sign. They can make any. Then any one of their Luka cards could be a signed Luka card. He could change the card out every a couple days a month.
Oh my god. When's that going to be a thing?
I'm loving this idea, EP. I like this. Yeah. We could come up with a special holder that has a place for them to sign on that won't rub off, that we can sell to the hobby, and then they can do that. Well, they're like, transform. You can have your Prism card signed. You can have your Top Chrome signed.
And then when people find the stickers in the trash, we can buy the stickers from them and put the stickers on our promo.
No, I only do on plastic. I only do on plastic. I'm like Rittenhouse with this.
Wow. Okay. Well, I know you guys love when I have a list for you. So we're going to finish off this week with a list. Our friends over at Collect, they don't know we exist, but I like they are. But
and it's spelled the normal way.
I have to say here,
right?
No, it's not. It's still spelled really dumb, but they do have a lot of decent information and news and stuff that's going on. And it's one of my many stops that I like to go to try to keep up on things for you, the viewer. But they had a list of the 10 most important sports cards from the 1980s. So I want to see if you guys can come up with the list of 10 most important sports cards from the 1980s.
86 Fleer.
Wow. I like how you jumped in on that.
Of who?
86 Fleer. Charles Barkley?
Jordan.
Oh, okay. Yes, that is the number one, of course.
By the way, I jumped in and went first because I usually carry his ass. So on these lists,
it'll get it done sooner. Okay.
Yes.
That makes sense. All right.
Number 2 is 89 Upper Deck Griffey.
Number 2 is the 89 Upper Deck Griffey.
I'm at a loss now.
Only 2 cards.
81 Montana.
81 Joe Montana is number 6 on the list. We're doing good here.
Is the 89 Barry Sanders score on there?
That was on their honorable mention kind of list. I know you guys love honorable mentions. So yes, that was honorable mention, but was not part of the top 10.
How about I don't know the year. Cal Ripken's rookie.
I was gonna say that, yeah.
No, not even an honorable mention.
Oh wow, suck it, Ripken.
That's crazy.
That's right.
80 Ricky Henderson Topps rookie.
1980 Ricky Henderson is the number 4 card on the list. Good job. We have
how is Ripken not on there? Jeez.
How about Lemieux's rookie?
1985 O-Pee-Chee Mario Lemieux, number 10 on the list.
Snuck in there.
Just snuck in there, yeah.
Oh man. I mean, are there any traded cards? Can I ask a question? Are there any traded cards on there?
There are no traded cards on there.
All right.
I got another guess.
The 86 Jerry Rice rookie?
Jerry Rice is the number 5 most important sports card from the 80s.
Was it 85, the McGuire?
No, but McGuire was an honorable mention.
I mean, if Ripken's on there, there won't be any Puckett or anybody like that.
So who is on there? Is the question.
How many do we have left? How many do we
have 4 left. You're doing pretty good. Yeah. I don't think you're going to get them all, but I think 2 of these you should probably get.
There's probably another basketball player, but I can't think of who it is.
Can I go next?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Bird Magic Julius Erving.
Oh, yeah.
The number 3 card was the 80-81 Topps Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. Good job, Joe.
I remember if that was 70 or 80, 79 or 80. But, all right.
Well,
it was 81.
Part of it is you need to know. You need to be knowledgeable.
And Joe clearly has more knowledge than me.
Clearly, yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
throughout
it wasn't
the
fair.
years, right?
It was basketball. Yeah, he clearly knows more than either of us.
Man, the 84 Mattingly is definitely not on there either. But 84
I
love this. Yeah.
Is that an honorable mention at least? Mattingly?
Well, use it.
Is that your pick or not?
Yeah, 84 Topps Mattingly. Yeah.
No, it is not on as the list or as an honorable mention.
Okay.
Sadly.
I
think it could be argued.
What are the sports? What are the sports there, Mike? That's left.
Let's say 1 basketball, 1 baseball, and 1 not basketball or baseball or football.
Ooh.
Yeah. This is where it gets difficult.
Yeah.
This is where it gets difficult.
No, I'm not talking about you guessing. I'm talking about me having to fill in all the dead air while you guys.
Hey, you're the one who brings these lists, man. And I think
they're fun.
I think I got 6 out of 6 of them.
I don't think you did. I think it's 4-3, but who's counting?
I think Mike might be.
Might be.
Oh man. Wait, we're all talking just rookie cards, right? How about the Jordan Star?
10 most important?
Jordan Star.
Jordan Star is the number 7 on the list. So we have a baseball and an alternate sport left on the list.
Like the Hulk Hogan All-Stars card's not on there, is
there
it?
You go. Yes, it is.
By the way, 9. No, that doesn't count. That was a question. It was
That's true.
It's not on there.
I know that's what he tries to do all the time.
Yeah. Good call on that one, EP. Can't wait till
he's like the people that order in a restaurant and say, "Can I have?" It's like, yes, you're in a restaurant. Of course you can. Say, I'll have. Don't ask if you can have the food they're serving.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to defer to EP for the last one. It's a baseball card.
Last one's baseball.
I don't think you're going to get it.
And it's 5-4.
And you said there's no traded. The 1986 Canseco rated rookie?
No, that is incorrect.
The
Joe,
Barry
I'll give
Bonds,
you one guess.
Barry Bonds rookie now.
It was the 1989 Fleer, Billy Ripken.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's a good
important card. Yes. So I kind of feel like that was a pretty solid list.
Yeah.
That was kind of what I wanted to get at. Number 1, the 86 Fleer Jordan. 2 was the 89 Griffey. 3 was the Magic and Bird rookie. 4, Ricky Henderson rookie. 5, Jerry Rice. 6, Joe Montana. 7 was the Jordan Star. The Fuckface Ripken, number 8. Number 9, the Hulk Hogan wrestling. That was the one I wasn't really sure that I'd put in there.
That's a good call, EP.
Yeah.
And 10, the O-Pee-Chee Mario Lemieux. Yeah, the Hogan was the only one I don't really. I maybe now it is kind of important, but it hasn't been up until the last couple of years, so it's kind of a weird one there.
I feel like in wrestling cards though that it's kind of like an iconic card, and if
you
put a wrestling card on there, like it's probably the one that we're gonna put on.
We know some wrestling collectors who probably saw that list and just like, who do not walk around them for the next like 10 minutes. They've got to be alone, and yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah,
bunch of peckers guys. They are, aren't they?
Well, anyway, I think that's all I have for you this week. I don't know. Should we wrap it up there? We'll wrap it up there because I'm tired and ornery. What else is new? All right, guys. That was a good chat this week, and I will see you next week. Take care, guys.
See you, boys.
Be excellent to each other.